Same count.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, says on my way.
Want to amend the agenda to wait till he gets here, because it's a fourth vote. Just,
No, we need three, right?
only three, I just, if he's,
It's better if he's here, of course.
I think it would be better. but,
Yeah,
um,
we can always like move something from the item of discussion
Yeah,
forward.
Susan, is Amy coming? She's in Poughkeepsie, right?
She's trying to reach you.
Yeah, I saw that she was trying to do both. Is anybody here from MC3?
Yeah, they just came.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So, we just say,
We can do that if we have to.
motion to open the meeting, then motion to amend the
Yep.
agenda.
So do we have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open the zoning board of appeals meeting on February 17th. Second.
James seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
A motion to amend the agenda for the evening?
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
We're gonna probably move some of that discussion forward. Okay,
Oh, he's walking.
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from February 3rd? Any comments or changes, or?
Comments have been answered.
Okay.
No changes, no
All
edits.
right, do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes from February 3rd.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So,
I guess,
but we can just continue with the
Yeah.
agenda then. We'll do that. All right, so we'll
yeah,
can settle and we'll get started with
yeah, I got you, this one will be on the house, all right.
All right, so we'll continue with the original agenda now that we've got a full board, or as full as it's going to be tonight. So we'll open with a public hearing. There's no possible extension or abandonments of application pursuant to the town code. So we'll move on to the public hearings, which are both 6 and 8 Cumberland Drive. This evening, the zoning board of appeals will deliberate and consider action on the rehearing of the area variance application submitted by Harness Estates LLC for properties located at 6 and 8 Cumberland Drive. The public hearing on this matter has been duly noticed and held. The hearing record is closed, and the board is now deliberating based on the full record. For the record, this matter is before the board as a rehearing pursuant to Town Law 267A12, following submission of an amended application. The amended application placed 5 area variance requests before the board, all of which were noticed and heard at the hearing. The board has also reviewed that the town engineer's memorandum prior to board discussion and the full application history. So, Rory, how do you want to proceed with going through there's 5 area
Yeah,
variances?
this just lays out what they are for consideration, and then it kind of revisits them, so this is just for record purposes.
Okay.
You can read those right in.
Just read all
Yep.
5?
Yep.
All right. 5 area variances under consideration are as follows. Town Code 97-25 floodplain overlay. To the extent required, a variance to recognize access to the subject lots from an existing town road located within the mapped floodplain with the express condition that no variance is granted from floodplain development standards, FEMA requirements, or New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, all of which remain subject to planning board and code enforcement review. Number 2, Town Code 97-26 stream corridor overlay. Variance to permit minimum stream setback of approximately 70 feet where 100 foot setback is otherwise required. 3, Town Code 97-27 aquifer overlay. A variance to recognize the subject pre-existing lots, each containing approximately 15,500 square feet and served by municipal water and sewer in lieu of the 3-acre minimum lot size otherwise required. 4, Town Code 97-15B1, variance to permit constrained lands to be included in zoning lot area calculations for the purpose of determining minimum lot size without waiving the identification or regulation of constrained lands during planning board site plan review. 5, Town Code 97-15B5, a variance to permit areas meeting the definition of steep slopes to be included in minimum lot size calculations without authorizing disturbance of steep slopes and without limiting the planning board's authority over grading, erosion control, or site design.
That your,
Just also B6, the 30%. I'm not sure if I need that or not, because I think they're existing lots, so.
yeah, I mean, it was on the list last time and it was amended to be under sub 5. Is that correct, Frank?
Yeah, the sub 5 was the,
Steep slope grade, no?
no,
No.
It's been changed, like,
Yeah, B5 is the constrained land.
the constrained land.
B6 is this 30% open space.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me, but the B5 was came in.
Yeah. So it's B5 for the constrained land, B6, there's this thing about 30% constrained lands. The lots are pre-existing, but.
just give me a moment, Tom.
Sure.
Okay, so you're saying, so 5 is, minimum lot size required shall not include constrained lands.
Right.
Contiguous slopes containing at least 1,500 square feet with at least 10 feet of continuous horizontal width perpendicular to the slope shall be considered steep slopes.
There's a definition in the code about constrained lands includes floodplains.
And you're saying 6 is also in there? At least 30% of the area must be protected as an undeveloped open space? I think that was changed last meeting, that's my notes. And that was what that was listed as the 5th variance request. And it was supposed to be sub 5, not sub 6.
Frank had pointed out that originally the application said B1.
Yeah, there's typo.
It was a typo, so that should be B5. And then
Okay.
the 5th one was B6, this 30%.
All right, so B1's the incorrect one.
B1's the incorrect one.
That's the only intent I had with that email, was a typo to the typo there.
So B1 is now B6?
Yeah. So number 4 in the list of the variances that you just read off.
Yep.
Yes, now
That's incorrect.
97-15B6.
Yep.
So again, I'll read 15B6 is at least 30% of the site area must be protected as an undeveloped open space, which may include public greens, parks, playing fields, playgrounds, and portions, large private residential and non-residential lots set aside as open space preserved with conservation easements provided in 97-21, land used for common buildings and recreational facilities, including parking areas for such facilities shall be counted toward open space requirements. Preserved open space may not include wetlands or other constrained land. And you're looking for relief of this property being identified as a constrained land?
Two things, one that is the constrained land, and also that we don't have to set aside 30% open space, which sounds strange in this discussion because they're existing lots. But I put that in there because that's something that the town engineer had pointed out in his memo. So we're looking for relief from B5 and from B6.
All right.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, it's fine, that's my fault. Okay, is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we can, I don't need a motion, but the next step would be going to the 5-factor test. If everybody's comfortable with that, I'm gonna get started on that.
Yeah, and we'll do 6, then 8, we'll do like.
Yeah.
Point 1 for 6 Gumwood.
That's
point
correct.
1 for 8 Gumwood, and that way we can go through them all.
That's correct, and yes. So under town law 267-B subsection 3, the board must balance the benefit to the applicant against potential detriment to health, safety, and welfare, the neighborhood or community. In doing so, the board must consider 5 statutory factors. I'll go through each factor, summarize what is already in the record, and then ask the board members if you have any additional comments. First factor is undesirable change in neighborhood character. Whether granting the variances would produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or create a detriment to nearby properties. Prior discussions, board members noted that Gumwood Drive is already developed, single-family homes on similarly sized lots, many of which are subject to the same overlay constraints. Town engineer's memorandum did not identify neighborhood character impacts arising solely from the dimensional relief requested. No public testimony received, the rehearing asserting that the requested variance would alter the established residential character. I'll now turn to any board members who have any additional comments as it relates to that factor. Factor 2, the second factor is whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method other than an area variance. The record reflects that strict compliance with the overlay and lot calculation provisions would effectively preclude reasonable development of these pre-existing lots. Board members previously discussed that relocating structures to avoid all constrained lands or steep slopes would not be feasible given the size and configuration of the parcels. Engineer's memo supports the conclusion that relief must be addressed through dimensional variances rather than alternative design alone. And are there any additional comments or amendments to what I've stated? Third factor is whether the requested variances are substantial. Discussed in prior meetings, one of the board's primary concerns was avoiding overly broad relief. In response to the engineer's memo, relief before the board has been narrowed to specific measurable dimensions, including defined stream setback reduction, recognition of pre-existing lot size on municipal utilities, and limited inclusion of constrained lands and steep slopes for lot area calculation purposes only. The board has discussed that while the relief is not minimal, it is quantified and limited, it does not waive entire overlay districts to spec. Any additional comments? No. Okay. Fourth factor is whether granting the variances would have an adverse effect on physical environmental conditions. Town engineers specifically raised concerns about ensuring that overlay requirements were not eliminated wholesale. The decision and relief under consideration would have to preserve floodplain compliance, stream corridor protections behind the reduced setback, aquifer protection standards, and planning board authority over grading, drainage, slopes, and site design. The board previously stated on record that the environmental and site-specific impacts would be addressed during planning board site plan review, and not by the ZBA. Are there any additional environmental concerns board members wish to raise?
No.
Fifth factor is whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. The board has acknowledged that these lots were created prior to the adoption of certain overlay standards, and that the applicant did not create the underlying environmental constraints. While ownership of constrained property is a factor, the board has discussed the self-creation alone, does not preclude the granting of an area variance. Any additional comments? Okay. Before moving to motions, I want to note for the record that this deliberation responds directly to the town engineer's memorandum. Relief under consideration is limited to dimensional and definitional standards. No overlay district is being waived in its entirety. All remaining regulatory review remains with the planning board and building department. Having reviewed the statutory factors and the full record, the board will now entertain motions with respect to the application. I did draft motions separate for each of the 5 variances. I do have to amend one, obviously, because it was the wrong part of the code. They're easily can be flipped from an affirmative to a decline of the variance. So whoever wants to make a motion on them, just amend the direction of that. The rest of the language is fine. That makes sense? What's in front of you, the motions that are in front of you?
That makes sense.
Yeah, okay. They're written in the affirmative, just, I didn't do double. I just wrote it that way, so, start with, number one.
So do we have a motion to, for motion one, do we have a motion to,
Yeah, I move to grant an area variance from Town Code, section 97-26, to permit a stream setback of approximately 70 feet where 100 feet is otherwise required, based on the board's findings under Town Law, section 267-B3, as set forth in the draft decision.
you have a second?
I second.
Any seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Was that all tie?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I'll move again to grant an area variance from Town Code section 97-27 to recognize the pre-existing lots of approximately 15,500 square feet served by municipal water and sewer with all other aquifer protection standards remaining applicable.
So we have a second on that?
Second.
James seconds addressed.
You can vote. Where's-
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone agrees?
Yeah.
I'll move to grant limited relief from Town Code section 97-15 subsection B1 solely to
This one
permit.
is B6 now, it's B6.
Got it, scratch that.
What happened?
Read B1, I'm gonna restart this motion 3.
Yeah, can you give me 1 second? Because I'm just pulling something up.
Yeah.
I apologize, I want to make sure we're. So,
No, I got second in the bag. Just make sure Kenny,
You gotta get pens and you get a second.
Kenny, you're out, you're closed. Yeah, I'll let you close today.
Huh?
I'll let you close the meeting today.
I appreciate it.
No, it's okay.
okay. So I motion 3 just needs to be amended for the subsection.
Just the
It's-
number,
It's the
right?
constrained lands, I mean, it's the.
I think,
Yeah.
I'm glad I got that part right.
but that's right.
I'm reviewing it right now just to make sure it's.
It's the 30%, it's constrained, that's what it's describing.
Yeah.
It's the same, it's the right characterization, just the subsection 6.
So, yeah, it's constrained lands and 30%.
So you want me to mention both, like, in the motion?
It's,
If you're asking me, I think one for B5 and one for B6.
correct, that's where,
Yeah.
but B,
B5 is the constrained lands, B6 is the 30%.
you know what, it mentions constrained land in 6,
Yeah.
that's what's, keeps me coming back to that. Where 5 also mentions
So
it.
it does, it mentions it in both.
Yeah.
So the motion right now is permit constrained lands to be included in zoning lot area calculations without waiving planning board authority to regulate constrained lands during site plan review. That's 6. Because it doesn't mention the 30%, but it's, I don't wanna do these on the fly, Charlie, but that, I think would, if you read what the 30% is applied to the, if you have constrained land, it's not open space, right? So,
I think constrained land is the 30%.
that's what I'm, that's kinda what, if it's waiving that but not waiving the overlay. So I'll read it again. It says, I move grant limited relief from Town Code 97-15-6 solely to permit constrained lands to be included in the zoning lot area calculations without waiving planning board authority to regulate constrained lands during site plan review. You don't think that gives you the relief?
I think you have to say that that's B5, and you need a particular one for the 30%, which would be B6. And I only said it because that's how Sean had put it
Yeah.
in his memo, so.
So it would be a variance from the requirement that 30% of the lot be set aside as open space.
That would be for B6, but I think you also need the separate one for B5. that
Yeah.
says constrained land, so.
right now, that would be, I did it towards the steep slopes, sorry.
Roy, what'd you just say though about the 30, like the verbiage of it for the 30%?
The last one, the 30% one, it would be variance from the requirement that, 30% of the lot be set aside as open space.
Can we just tack that onto the back end of what we currently have as B6?
How would you set aside then? I'm confused.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to listen. Is anything set aside?
I'm sorry.
I should-
I know your brain's working as an attorney right now,
Yeah.
but I can't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Susan.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. I know what happened. So the code, to answer your question, since it's sitting out there, the code requires that 30% of the lot be set aside as open space.
And these are requirements about for subdivisions. And so normally, if you have a large subdivision, you do have 30% set aside. These lots exist already.
Right.
They're there. The engineer had mentioned about this 30% requirement in there. He might have been confusing about the subdivision, but just to be clear, that these lots aren't gonna have 30% of them set aside. But there's a coverage limit as to how much you can put on, which is basically, is the house, yeah, so.
Right. I moved to solely to prohibit constrained lands to be included in the zoning lot area calculation without waive the planning board authority to regulate constrained lands during site plan review, and to give a variance from the requirement that 30% of, is that too messy?
No, I would separate them. I would do, the second one, the 30% is the relief from sub 6. And then sub 5 would be, variance from the requirement that calculated lot size, includes constrained lands, right? And you want it to not include.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna read the motion into the record as it is, all right? So we're on number 3. Motion 3 would be a variance from the requirement. This is on 97, 15B5. Variance from the requirement that the calculated lot size include constrained lands, which include areas within a floodplain. Good?
Good.
Sorry, guys. Okay, does someone want to make a motion related to that, 9715B5? I'll read it again, yeah?
One more time.
Okay, it's a variance from the requirement that any calculated lot size must include, include constrained lands.
Okay. I move to grant the variance from the requirements.
That any
Of-
calculated lot size include constrained lands.
Okay. I move.
Not
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 included,
included.
not included constrained lands, yes,
Jesus.
yes.
This is why I wrote it out beforehand, but. Okay.
I move to grant limited relief, I move to grant an area variance from town code section 9715B 5 from the requirement that calculated lot size not include constrained lands.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now onto the next one, which would be 15B6, granting limited relief from the requirement that 30% of the lot be set aside as open space.
Is that how you?
Yeah, it's that short. I mean, it's limited relief from town code, section 97-15B, subsection 6, requirement that 30% of the lot be set aside as open space.
Okay, I move to grant limited relief from town code section 97-15B 6 to give a variance from the requirement that 30% of the site area be protected, be preserved as undeveloped land.
Second.
All right, James, all in favor?
Aye. Okay, we got that. And then lastly, I move that the board clarify that no variance from Town Code Section 97-25 is granted for floodplain development or access, and that all floodplain, FEMA, and uniform code requirements remain subject to planning board and code enforcement review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You got a motion to, that the board, will allow me to draft decision and determination as amended by the motions just approved.
I move that the board
Make a
adopt it.
motion.
Ken will make the
Yeah,
motion.
good.
Second?
Second.
James seconds?
You can't just put a thumbs up on it.
Aye.
I don't think it works like that.
Put thumbs up on it.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay,
Do we have to do that second time?
we do. That was,
We have to do that second time for eight
can I get a motion to adopt all previous motions for, both
For
6
eight.
and 8 Gumwood?
Make a motion to adopt all previous motions for 8 Gumwood Drive.
Thank you.
Second.
James seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
How long are we working on that?
I heard
Feels
right.
like it.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to items for discussion or action. The first item is MC3 Ventures LLC / Hugh Kenzie, formerly known as 920 Associates LLC, 12-1-53, 54, application to amend existing variances to remedy encroachments of an existing dwelling involving adjacent parcels under the same ownership. This is an initial presentation. Do we have a representative for that project?
Just come out, introduce yourself to the group.
Good evening, so I'm Hugh McKenzie, for MC3 Ventures.
Good evening.
Good, how are you? Okay, so we're asking for variances to correct encroachment from the lot of the house. To make it more, less non-conforming. Because right now, the house is actually encroaching on lot 54.
Okay. So it's in lot 53, and it's encroaching on 54.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
What's your relationship to the project, sir?
The owner, we just bought this property.
You
Yeah,
both,
both of us,
okay.
right, yeah.
How you doing, man?
Good, so we just bought this property. So my wife.
Come on, you gotta introduce.
Yeah, sorry,
What?
it's something I came to my wife, sorry.
You're all business.
Welcome, welcome.
That's how I introduce my wife.
Sorry.
All right, so can you go through like kind of the timeline? You recently purchased property, how did you become
So
become
so
aware
we
of this?
closed on the property when December 3rd. And, so initially we went to the planning board and it was brought up that there's an encroachment where the house is onto the lot 54. So we wanna, correct the encroachment to make it less non-conforming. So we own both lots.
Got it. What's the address?
2641 and 2639, Route 79.
Okay.
2639.
Sir,
and-
I just-
sorry.
And what, just for the record, I can't really hear you, I think someone at the home feel that.
Okay, so the address is 2639 and 2641 Road 75.
Okay.
This is a residence?
The residence is on 2641 and 2639 is the empty lot.
Okay. So it's right there next to the lawn, like what's that, like a bottle of recycling?
No, the bottle recycling is further down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's like right there. Are you
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you planning on joining the two properties into one at some point?
No, because they're two separate lots. The site plan is to build a, auto repair shop on the empty lot, sales and repair on the empty lot.
Okay.
So this, as you can see, the house is encroaching on this lot. So we wanna cover the encroachment.
Well, we're trying to do out there's some property. Right, you're not proposing to actually move the property line, you just want.
Well, that's what we're looking to do, is move the property line over, so it's not, so the house is not encroaching on this property.
And you own both lots?
We own both lots.
Is that a variance?
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to help you move a property line. We would just be able to give you a
I'm sorry.
variance to allow it to be where it is. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So they're actually looking to
The
move the
variance,
property
the
line,
variance.
which would not.
Right. The variance would allow it to be as it is in the future.
Yeah, I think the building inspector.
Yeah, so,
No, we're looking to move the property line,
yeah, so lot line change.
the lot line change.
I'll just give the zoning board a little history.
Right, okay.
They went to the planning board, they purchased, which was previously approved. The prior owner went to the planning board to get approval for a plumbing yard,
Yeah.
contractor yard. In turn, he sold it to this lovely couple here, and they wanna do auto repair.
That's it, right.
And then it came, since they own both of them, they're trying to address this encroachment that they discussed. So you're proposing to move the lot line, you'll still need variances, but it'll be, it's gonna help you in the long run because you own this parcel as well. It's more, the project was going through with the prior owner, with the plumbing contractor.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was not an issue, it was going through, but since they own both, they tried to get into somewhat more of a conformance.
So is the idea to move the property line, that it still won't be it won't be conforming because it'll still be too close to the property line?
That's right.
Too much,
That's right.
so it'll be within the side yard setback?
Yes.
Right.
So we're looking to grant relief to the side yard setback, and then when they move the property line, it'll be acceptable then?
Yeah, and at least it won't be encroaching onto the property, onto the neighbors, on which in essence they own. It won't be an encroachment over the property line. Right, am I correct with that?
That's correct, yes.
Trying to clean it up for the future.
Okay. All right, that makes some sense.
Thank you.
Not that it matters necessarily the variance, but how close is this home going to be to this new building that you want?
Well, so the home will be about, let me look.
Like, is it gonna be perpendicular from the road to the, the new building and that home?
So this is the building
Setback.
here. This is the house back here.
Gotcha. All right, so it's not gonna be really close.
Okay.
So the building is over here, so this is at least 30, this is the 30-yard setback, it's about 50 feet away from
Okay.
the house right here. So what we're doing, this is the line, this is the current line. So we wanna move the lot line over, so it's not actually going through the house.
So you need the variance prior to the line being able to be moved. Is that right, Frank? So they need the variance prior to being able to even get the lot line changed. We don't do the lot lines to the ZBA.
Well, no, lot lines are not, they don't do lot lines here.
Yeah. Got it.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, like, which comes first, the chicken or the
Yeah,
egg?
which comes first, like, wouldn't they need the lot line moved and then we give the variance because now it's a new lot line, or do we do it first?
Oh.
Well, we're to the planning board, and then come for the variance first.
Okay.
And then the lot
Yeah,
line.
I mean,
It would be in lieu of them.
Assuming they can move the property, they move the
Yeah.
lot line, then the variance will be.
I'm assuming
I-
wouldn't have
I
second
mean,
here without that being
yeah.
something that
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
done.
I don't see any reason why they can't move the property line, they own both parcels, so,
Right.
so they're just trying to clean it up for internally amongst,
Yep.
that dwelling there.
Who's the mechanic?
I have to do myself.
It's not them.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
You've spoken to an engineer, was that before you purchased the property in advance of all that?
Yes, 'cause before we purchased the property, we actually went to the planning board before we purchased the
Got it.
property. And that's when the encroachment came out, and that would be the variance to move the lot line.
It's the same engineer that was already worked on it, so they're
Right, so
familiar
that's,
with
they're the
it.
ones who.
Right.
Right.
Have you spoken to an attorney about making sure that what you're presenting to us is getting you the step that you need to be getting right now? Or the engineer directed you to, that this is what the step needed to take place? Okay, that makes sense.
Sent a narrative, or something, you guys would have had that.
I didn't see it electronically, so.
Well,
No.
so we need to read it for them.
We can, no, it's here somewhere.
It's a pretty simple thing. Are you anticipating needing any variances for the new building?
No, that was all approved already.
Okay.
It's right across from, it's the auto body that right across the street, directly
Yep.
across the street.
You're not doing auto bodies, though, okay?
Not directly, but,
A little bit, you know,
yes, that's it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So now
We
we bought it.
were very familiar with this property.
Yeah.
But he wasn't asking for a lot line change to that.
No,
No.
you just started sending road frontage.
Yeah.
Their building was
Yes, there was a couple of
closer to this,
variances.
but now we set ours.
Well, now the question is just to, did we end up, we did it?
We did.
Yes.
Yes,
I wanna make sure they're in the
that
right.
building's all
That's why we
approved,
thought-
and it's within the 30-foot setback, side yard setbacks.
Got it, we already got that, so we
Yeah.
can, and they don't have to reapply.
No.
I thought about that.
would you have to record, what, we grant a change?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Would you have to record a new, we would have to record the new, they get the variance, we would provide the variance and they'd record the new lot line?
I'm not sure what happened.
I think we would grant the variance, provided they move the property line,
They can't move the property line, our variances.
then the
Move
variance
one.
goes away, right.
I'm fine, yeah, that sounds fine.
So, do we need a, public hearing on this? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I potentially, put it on for April 7th.
Okay. That'll give them enough time to notice, and we don't have a meeting
Notice.
on the 17th,
Correct.
so we're.
You have to notice that I have to do, I have to do a 239.
Okay.
Because I've done a 239 for planning, but you have to do a separate one for the ZBA.
Okay.
Why are we doing that now? We own both properties?
What's-
Right now.
What's the question?
Public hearing, and we own both properties?
Well, you need a public hearing for any variance,
Any variance.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just common, but it's,
So even though
It's
you
very-
had one,
it's very
you've
easy.
already done it for the planning, you have to do it for ZBA.
Right.
You
Have
have
you
to-
spoken?
That I can understand, because you're putting up a building and all that, but I didn't expect that
Yeah.
for this,
Yeah.
but okay.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to any, any neighbors, to introduce yourself and tell them about your plans? I mean, I don't know if anyone would be too
I mean, you
disturbed.
can do it.
But we've been doing that for the actual
They've been doing
building,
the
that's what
planning.
I'm saying, we're doing that already for that.
Okay.
And nobody showed up twice.
Okay.
I'm sure no, it's very possible nobody shows up for any of them, but you have to do it just to
Right,
make
but
it,
I expect that for this. I mean, you've done-
it's a pretty simple process, they, so,
You've done it already. You've already done it.
So long, you know, so that's
Sorry.
why I'm
Yeah.
trying to get moving with the
sure,
process.
sure. I mean, good news, I don't know if we'll start building in the next month anyway, right? It's pretty cold out there, so I think,
Well, we still have to do
I
this
think it's a
and
good
then
timing
go
for you to
back
be.
the planning board,
Yeah,
so we're,
yeah,
you know.
sure. So, make a motion to set a public hearing for
April
April
7th.
7th
At 7:30.
at 7:30.
Second.
All right, James makes the motion, Sam seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so,
So we have a
You'll talk to Greg, you'll talk to,
So if you're saying
Stay in touch with
we have to
building
go back to
department.
planning board, does that mean we need to get planning?
I'm sorry.
Are you suggesting something that's come back in April
that's this,
for this part?
That's the soonest that we
That's
can get
the-
you back for.
because of
So that means we have to defer the planning board meeting, the zoning, right,
Well, if that's, what- yeah.
so I'm not understanding. Okay.
So, we could put you on March 3rd, we don't have a meeting March 17th, so it would be March 3rd on the original date. The problem with March is, I mean, we need the referral back from the county, otherwise there's no action can be taken. So it would just be to open the public hearing and hear commentary and then close it. We can't take action until April, no matter what we
Okay.
do. So
Right.
it seems like I don't wanna bring it back twice, you know.
So I'll send you the notice.
Right, so that means we have to push back the planning board. Right.
I'll talk to Sean.
Okay.
We'll get it done as quickly as we can. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
thank you for bringing it in, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Just, yeah, just not this second, just give a call, like during the week and check
I'll
in.
email you everything and then I'll talk, see the planning board on Thursday and I'll tell them when your meeting is. Okay? All right.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Okay, so, the next item on the agenda is Shapiro / Timber Trail LLC, 2-1-20.4 and 22. The applicant requests an appeal of the building inspector's interpretation dated December 11, 2025, made on behalf of the proposed Entourage project, which is on lot 2-1-21.2 and 2-21.2.3. Is that,
Go ahead, never mind, go ahead.
no, am I reading that?
No, you're going off the agenda, that's fine.
Right, I just want to.
Yeah, you're right, because it's got more detail, so that's great, sorry about that.
Okay, no. All right, so this is an initial presentation. So,
You can go to the last sentence of the first, of number one, let's start there.
okay.
Actually, no, just read the whole.
I'll just read the whole thing, right? The next item on the agenda is the appeal filed by S. Shapiro and Timber Trail LLC concerning the building inspector's interpretation dated December 11th, 2025, relating to the proposed Entourage project. This matter is before the board as an administrative appeal pursuant to Town Law 267-A. This item is listed on tonight's agenda as an initial presentation only. The board is not opening a public hearing this evening and will not take any testimony to make any determination tonight. The proposal of tonight's discussion is to acknowledge receipt of the appeal, clarify the scope of the issues raised, and outline the procedural steps required for the board to schedule a public hearing on the appeal in accordance with Town Law 267A.
For the record, this is an appeal of administrative determination. The board's role will be to review the building inspector's interpretation de novo, determine whether it's correct under the zoning code. A public hearing with proper notice be required before the board may act. This time, allow the appellant, Ms. Shapiro, to briefly, we talked a little bit beforehand, but the brief summary, everybody received the letter, or the advocacy letter from Attorney Levine on behalf of Ms. Shapiro and the LLC, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And from a
That's-
letter from me as well, did you get both?
That was
Oh,
from
they were attached.
what,
That is the
yeah.
letter, yeah.
You guys have two letters, right?
No, one.
Okay, all right, so Susan, I'll
I
have that.
have copies of it.
Yeah, well, I'll electronically file it to them.
Okay.
If you have copies, you can, if someone wants paper, that's fine. You just wanna leave them up there. They'll go into the record. All right, and then,
So I guess we'll,
it's not, it's not testimony, it's not official testimony. When we do the hearing, that will be, I'm sure, just sort of regurgitated, but right now it's just an advocacy letter, okay?
okay.
Could also, would like to hear from the building department, briefly identify the determination being appealed, and confirm that the date noted earlier is correct, that's for the determination date, December 11, 2025.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem, no
Take-
problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a letter.
All right, so we've clarified that.
So we'll do an initial brief presentation summary of the project, of the.
Yeah, I think we can,
Yeah, we had, perfect.
wait for them.
December 11th.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, Frank, do you want to give a brief overview of what you understand the,
Yeah, okay, so, I just want to break it down a little bit. So I sent Steve Esposito an email on December 11th, as was previously stated. It's a paragraph, I just like to read it, and then I'll explain. Steve, good afternoon. In review of the attachments to Town Code 98-18C is my interpretation that the proposed building additions and renovations will not result in a significant modification to the exterior appearance of the existing structure. Furthermore, I concur with project engineer Jeff DeGraw that the proposed renderings depict similar architectural details and that the proposed exterior appearance will be consistent with the existing mansion. All right. But I wanna break that paragraph down. The key word is existing structure, that's what I wanna emphasize. So if you recall, the project has additions. It's a large project, additions to the left, additions to the right, but I'm focusing on the existing structure only. So that's where I determined that the modifications are not significant. Basically, the changes to that existing structure included things like decking, porches, a little bit of some roof line changes. Again, I'm not taking into consideration the additions that are proposed. If you recall the renderings that Mr. DeGraw proposed, it was quite a big building. So that's where the ZBA is gonna have to weigh in. Because in answering Mr. Esposito's request for me, he stated existing structure. Again, that's all I was keying in on. So I don't think the existing structure is gonna be significantly modified with the proposed changes that were presented. I have some digital imagery of the structure, which I could present later on as this progresses, and we can compare it to the renderings that Mr. DeGraw had. Like that said, I mean, as far as the other stuff with the proposed use of the building and the proposed size of the building, I believe that's gonna fall on the ZBA.
So translation, this might be a semantical debate of existing structure and what that meant, which I'm sure that if I have a discussion with Ms. Levine, maybe we can clarify. I would imagine that it's the ballroom and the other items that are being added, whether that falls under the existing structure or not. I think that's kind of where there's a little gap in our sides points of view. So, go ahead, Sue. You can-
Yeah,
I don't want to get in like a
I think,
back
I
and forth.
agree,
so
this is a bit of this semantic thing, because the way I read this and the way we read this is that he was asking, the question was, will there be a big difference, basically, between the existing structure and what's proposed? And he said no. And what he's now saying is what he's looking at is just the existing structure, forget about the additions. But then you're, I don't know how you separate, like they're proposing a 55,000 square foot building and it's now less than 15,000 square foot building. So there's clearly gonna be a change, and to say there's no change, I mean, I don't, it would be an unusual interpretation, I think, to come to the ZBA on an application to say, well, we're only looking at the existing structure and not the additions, and therefore we don't need a variance.
Well, I don't think that's, well,
I'm not sure what, I
yeah,
don't quite understand this argument, I'll be honest, I'm not clear, it's the first time I'm hearing it, and I'm confused by.
Well, there's I mean, I'm not gonna,
Right.
we're gonna set it down for hearing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
during that time, then we should
We should
obviously
have that
talk and see if
conversation.
we can close the gap on, because it might need clarification either way, even if you, understand the position, if you interpreted it that way, or heard it a different way, then maybe we need to clarify it, but that'll either be done stipulation-wise, or we'll do it at the hearing. I don't really
But
have
they
an
still
argument.
need a lot of variances.
That's correct, they're
Right.
before us for variances.
Right.
Right, so, and on that note, in Ms. Levine's letter, calls for a stay on all proceedings, and I will have a further conversation with Ms. Levine. It's a limited stay, doesn't prevent us from scheduling a hearing or for secret to continue, but, we'll clarify that. I'll have a memo to the ZBA and to the planning board as to what I believe the stay entails, but I do want to have a further conversation with Ms. Levine related to that. So, need a motion to schedule a public hearing, or we already, I'm sorry. Need a motion to schedule a public hearing.
Well, first, do we close the item first? There's no motion required tonight. And then we take the motion on the public hearing?
Yeah, that's correct. I skipped the number. Thanks,
Okay,
Tom.
so we'll, no action will be taken on this item this evening once the that's scheduled will be placed on a future agenda, and we will move to the next item, which is the last item for tonight, but,
So now I want that motion.
yes, so now we'll need a motion to consider scheduling a public hearing on the administrative appeal in accordance with town law 267-A7.
That motion would be, they move the ZBA to schedule a public hearing on the appeal filed by Susan Shapiro and Timber Trail LLC of the building inspector's determination date December 11, 2025, relating to non-Roga property pursuant to town law 267-A, with said public hearing to be held on March 3rd at 7:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, can be heard, subject to publication of notice in accordance with law. Can I get
So moved.
Thank you.
All right?
Second?
10 seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the, March 3rd at 7:30 or soon thereafter.
Just for record purposes, the cost of publication of the public hearing notice shall be borne by the appealing parties provided in 267-A sub 7. Ms. Shapiro or Ms. Levine just contact the building department to get the addresses. I will stay in touch with Ms. Levine. Can't really communicate with you beyond this interaction. Yeah, counsel. So, all right. Do you have any questions?
No. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay.
So our next meeting is actually March 3rd, 2026. Grace, do you want to look at what's maybe coming down the pike there?
Well, Healy.
Healy will
So
be
we
on
need
that
to get,
one, right?
we need to make sure Trino can be here or actually Chris will be back, right?
Yeah, Trino and or Chris.
Okay.
So I can run over, I can go over the budget for you.
Yeah,
That's great.
please.
I have, obviously the minutes, you have, the public hearing for Dover, the
Okay.
continuation of that. Healy, the draft decision. You'll have the, public hearing now for the interpretation. You have a new item, which is 7 Porter Road. And
That was sent to us tonight?
that was sent to you tonight, and you have the, hard copies in front of you.
I think also Cedar Swamp decision for review will be on as well.
What is that, I'm sorry?
Cedar Swamp.
Oh, the Cedar Swamp
Yeah,
decision?
it's gotta be either junk mail or, I didn't send it, so I removed Val. So
Yeah,
I couldn't see.
I didn't have a chance to take a look.
That's fine, we'll figure it out.
But I'll look, but I
It's a
don't recall
limited
seeing
decision,
it.
that was just, it's.
Pretty
Okay, so both of those decisions?
Yeah,
Okay.
please, thank you.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn the public
No,
hearing?
we were gonna let Ken do that.
Oh, you were.
Oh, no, we have to, no, that wasn't a public hearing.
Yeah, look at the
Come on,
transfer.
man.
That's like, you already screwed up enough motions tonight, Sam.
When I screw up, I correct.
Do we have a second?
Come correct.
Second.
James seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, if you want to send me those drafts, then I'll.
Yeah, I have that first and then I think he sent really back, he's like, he's good with this, and then we, right, is that what? I didn't send it back, did Tom send it back?
Yeah, she had sent it to me,
Oh,
so if you want to,
So the-
or if you want to send it to me.
Basically,
and
it's
I'll
launches like this.
whatever works.
And they're building a small trunk ball in here, and we're building a big trunk ball in there.
I sent it to